Alright. What's good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, as of today, I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be uploading this, but it has been a day or so since the anniversary of Tears of the Kingdom. The first anniversary of Tears of the Kingdom. And that is a wild thing to think about, considering the fact that after Breath of the Wild, we had to wait 6 years to finally get Tears of the Kingdom, a game in which we figure, it's a sequel, so we didn't really have to wait. We don't gotta wait that long. It's a sequel. They're gonna reuse assets and stuff like that. It's gonna be another Majora's Mask situation in which they kind of reutilize assets and just kind of build around what they already have. And while they did do that, they really took their time with it. So much so that a DLC, like a final DLC pack that was planned for Breath of the Wild, ended up just turning into a full-ass game with Tears of the Kingdom. And that is just incredible work. That is an absolutely insane thing to see, right? And so, unintentionally, I started replaying both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't even realize that the anniversary had come and gone because, I wasn't really thinking that hard about it, and yet here we are. It's been a full year, and I'm actually replaying Tears of the Kingdom right now. Every time I get a free moment, I'm just kind of casually just doing my thing, getting shrines, doing a little bit of story here and there, whatever, and it just kind of worked out that way. So I just wanted to kind of revisit another conversation about Tears of the Kingdom, right? Because that game is just, there's no denying. The sales numbers alone will tell you that game was highly anticipated, one of the most anticipated games in Nintendo's history, and it delivered. In my personal opinion, it delivered. I've never hidden the fact that I've absolutely loved this era of Zelda, pretty much. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, perfect. With that perfect little cherry on top that is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Not perfect, of course, the story definitely could have used some work, when time travel gets involved, it becomes a little bit of a mess. But regardless, it was still a fun time. It was still just a little good in between. We're not talking about that though. We're talking about Tears of the Kingdom. So we should probably get into that, okay? I just realized I don't have Ganondorf behind me right now because I've been using him in Tears of the Kingdom. Oh no, oh well. Whatever. That Ganondorf is perfect, by the way, but we're not talking about that. Anyway, moving on. So, like I've said, there's absolutely no mystery that Tears of the Kingdom is one of my favorite games of all time. It's definitely up there, and it's definitely just a little bit above or directly next to Breath of the Wild. It's still in talks with my own head, I guess, for lack of a better way to put that. It's still definitely a war because I just love the game so much that I don't really know exactly where to place it right now, especially with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth definitely in competition for that spot too. It's a lot of things that I have to work out, but there's no denying it's an incredible game, and I loved every waking minute that I spent with it. I literally took like a week or something off work just to play that. Super worth it. My wallet was hurting a little bit, but it was super worth it. I had such an incredible time with that game that I couldn't put it down. Every waking moment that I had, it was just Tears of the Kingdom, and it was kind of a similar feeling to Breath of the Wild, but weirdly enough, I think I took longer with Tears of the Kingdom than I did with Breath of the Wild, but it's kind of hard to remember because I was just floating on air. It's usually my second playthrough that I remember a lot more than my original. So, and that goes for all games. And, on this second playthrough right now, I'm really coming to understand why I fell in love with that game like I did. One day, I would absolutely love to go, in-depth, talking about each aspect of the game in a really in-depth review or something like that. But unfortunately, this channel is not built for, keeping your attention for more than 15 minutes right now. Maybe we could build that up a little bit. Maybe if you guys are really interested in something like that, we'll take some votes and stuff like that. We'll talk about it down the line. But for now, let's just talk about just a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom during its anniversary. Now, I've marked a couple questions here to really just answer on this video here to, really see how I feel about it. And the first question that I asked myself was, does it still hold up? I think that's a very obvious question to answer because, yeah, It really does. This game has insane replayability because unless you're doing literally every single thing in your playthrough, you're not going to get everything on a first playthrough. That's just not possible, right? I mean, it is, but you would still be playing it right now like that one dude is, who almost lost his save. There's a guy 100%ing Tears of the Kingdom, and he almost lost his save file, and he was so excited until he found out that he could probably get his file back. So yeah, unless you're doing something like that, you probably didn't do everything that you could do on a first playthrough. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly how the game was built to be. That's how Breath of the Wild was designed to be. It's a situation in which you're meant to have different experiences every single time you play through the game. Not every single playthrough is going to feel exactly the same. It's not like it's some hallway that you have to, you know, do A, B, and C in that order. In Tears of the Kingdom, it's built for you to do whatever you want, whenever you want. You don't have to follow a set line of rules or anything like that. And playing through it this time, because I'm not as worried about getting the story now, I'm really just taking my time, enjoying the sights, enjoying the side quests, and doing just a lot of extra stuff that I didn't really get that much into beforehand. I literally, on my first visit, never went to Terry Town. And funny enough, that goes for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. In Breath of the Wild, until my most recent playthrough, I never did Terry Town. Never even knew that that was a thing until people started complaining during Tears of the Kingdom's release that Terry Town was upsetting to them because so many people did not remember Link. And, you know, there's an entire video I'm gonna probably put in the description explaining why that's a thing, and it really makes a lot of sense, right? But I wasn't really affected by the Terrytown situation because I didn't know about it, right? But going into it now, after doing Terrytown, I finally see what everybody's talking about. And again, after that explanation as to why people don't really remember you like that, except the important NPCs, I'm totally okay with it. So playing through it now, I'm just really enjoying my time, and it's a really cool little area that I really just never visited before. And it's really fun to explore, to talk to all these NPCs and see what they're up to after all those years that passed in between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. There's still like a fun air of mystery about everything, even on a second playthrough, because yeah, while I have like the main story down and everything like that, there's still a lot of like hidden secrets and different NPCs that I never really interacted with and things like that, that are really just coming to light for me because I never got to really interact with them before. And that's really exciting to learn even more about this world that I didn't know beforehand. There's always somewhere to go, there's always something to explore, and that is super duper exciting, okay? And it's really fun to learn maybe there's some hints that could tell us what we may be seeing, some things that we may be seeing in the next Zelda game, right? Because there's still a lot that they didn't even tell us about. Is this a spoiler? It's been a year. There's a lot that they still didn't really tell us about the Zonai, even though we finally met some of them, right? But you never know what they've got cooking, and that's really exciting. And that's why I'm really enjoying this latest installment a second time. Another question is, was the game actually ever really good, or was it just recency bias because it followed Breath of the Wild and it's just a sequel that takes place in that world? Is it actually good, or is it good by proxy, so to speak? I'm telling you right now, right, there was an entire turnaround after Tears of the Kingdom came out. Like a couple of months after the fact, everybody was like, it was okay. What? What do you mean? It just wasn't as good as Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was absolutely revolutionary. It changed the entire formula for Zelda and everything like that. It was just so much better. I'm like, what? I'm gonna talk more about this in depth when we do a little versus video that I want to do, Breath of the Wild versus Tears of the Kingdom. I really want to do that, but that's going to take a little bit longer, so hang in here with me for a minute. But to kind of sum it up, essentially, I don't really agree with the statement that Breath of the Wild is completely better, right? Like, I get it. Yes, it was a lot more revolutionary, and people hung on to that for a much longer period of time, to the point where people were still discovering stuff years after the fact, right? But that's just the thing. It was revolutionary because it was the first of its kind. Zelda was known for being this one thing. It was known for its action, it was known for its platforming, it was known for its puzzles, and all this different stuff, right? But what it wasn't really known for was being an open world, basically action, almost RPGs type situation where you had complete freedom to tackle the story however you wanted to tackle it, right? And that is unheard of, right? They give you the tools right off the bat in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom so that you could explore the world at your leisure and come across things and deal with things as they come, which is something that no other Zelda prior has done before. Okay, which is why Breath of the Wild was so revolutionary, because it changed the game entirely. And when you get a sequel, a direct sequel to that very thing, yeah, it's not gonna have that same effect. Of course it's not gonna have that same effect. Their plan is to build on what they made, not recreate that same feeling. They're not creating something new, they're creating more. That's I kind of figured that was kind of obvious going into it, but I guess that wasn't really the case for a lot of people, which really surprised me at the time. I'm gonna put it like this: Tears of the Kingdom was always good. It was always amazing. It's a great game. It's not perfect, and no game is. Not even Breath of the Wild is perfect. It's really, really incredible, both of them. But they both have their flaws. And yes, there are some things in Breath of the Wild that are absolutely superior to Tears of the Kingdom. However, to me personally, I feel like there's a lot more in Tears of the Kingdom that completely outclass some aspects of Breath of the Wild. And that's kind of expected considering the fact that it's a sequel. It built upon its predecessor. So there's a lot of aspects in which they really improved it. There's a lot of graphical improvements, especially with the world, the overworld especially. You could definitely see a little bit of touch-ups here and there with snow aspects, with grass, and things like that, especially in the models. I don't know if you guys really paid that much attention to it, but on my recent playthrough of Breath of the Wild and going immediately into Tears of the Kingdom, I could definitely tell they paid a lot more attention and detail to the animation, right? You could definitely see that things feel a lot less stiff in any of the cutscenes and animations and things like that, or at least to me they do, right? Not that Breath of the Wild was bad or anything like that, you could barely tell, but paying real close attention to some of those cutscenes, you could definitely tell, oh yeah, no, Zelda looks miles better in Tears of the Kingdom. there's just really no argument there. Things are just better in Tears of the Kingdom. However, there are some aspects, for example, the menu switching is a lot slower in Tears of the Kingdom. That sucks. That's really annoying. Why did they do that? And of course, there's an entire debate on whether or not the sages are better, or if the champions are better, or if their abilities are better, yada yada, whatever, dude. Whatever, right? Long and short of it is, I like them both. Each of them have their flaws, each of them have their bonuses, their uniqueness about them, for lack of a better term, I guess. I enjoy them both vastly for different reasons, and I think it's a good time. Long and short of it is, everybody should have their own opinions, and if you are absolutely entitled to your opinion if you believe that Breath of the Wild is better. That's totally fine. However, I think that Tears of the Kingdom is just fundamentally a massive improvement, as it should be, and I think that they did a good job with it. Simple as that. So, to break it down for you, I'm still in love with Tears of the Kingdom as a game, and I still love Zelda to death. Oh my goodness. As a franchise, as a game, and the character, I love Zelda. I gotta get some art done or something like that with my character and Zelda, just for fun. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I love that character. Zelda is so damn... she's amazing in this era. Wild era Zelda. Anyway, enough of that. I love Tears of the Kingdom, and I really hope everybody else did too. It created some great memories for me, and I can't wait to continue making memories with it down the line, and hopefully one day we could go real in depth on Era of the Wild before we get into the next big Zelda game. And when we do get that next big Zelda game, I'm really hoping to play it with all of you guys, because I think that that's going to be a spectacle in like 4 or 5 years time. But anyway, that's enough out of me. I'm passing the mic to you guys, and you guys go ahead and tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you believe that Tears of the Kingdom is better? Do you think that it's a massive improvement over Breath of the Wild? Did you really enjoy it? Or did you think that it was an absolute stinker, it wasn't worth it, and they should just completely move on from this and never tackle anything like Tears of the Kingdom ever again? Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.